A lot of people always ask me how I set up my charts, what indicators I use, how I approach the day. So here's everything that I do that is able to help me take 355% trades practically every single day during these economic shifts. To start off, it is going to be very simple. ES is the exact same as SPY, and if a lot of you guys know why I use ES, is because my SPY looks insane. So, to start off, I'm going to remove everything and show you guys exactly what I look for. To start off, I'm always going to be on a 1 hour time frame to be starting off with the day, and I'm going to identify what is our bias most likely going to be. As we can surely see, we're on a downtrend. So a lot of people might be thinking, oh, we're most likely going to be looking for puts, right? I always like to stay pivotable in sense that I'm always willing to be able to turn around my opinion based on what price action is doing. So as we can see, ever since we practically entered the 4th or the 6th of April, we started having reversing price action and we started having untested lows. What are untested lows? Untested lows are levels that price reaches at a low sell side that we never come back to. Sure, we could have gotten close, but we never came back to this low. Here, we never came back to it. Same thing here. This is an untested low, confirming that if we don't come back to these lows, we could be looking to change our price action. And we're able to identify a 1 hour fair value gap right here. Same thing with NQ. We're able to identify a 1 hour fair value gap that price has still been inside of. Now, that you've identified what we most likely could be doing is pushing higher, we're going to identify where could we push to. Well, we have a huge fair value gap here that we could most likely push to. We have a high right here, and then we have another high up here. So as this is pretty far away, we could be looking to take a really good trade if this ends up breaking past this high. So this high is going to be our first level. This is what I mark out as my first buy side liquidity that I'm going to be looking as price reaches to this level and hopefully gets past this stacked of highs. So now that we've identified we're most likely going to be looking to push up, we're going to want to be using an indicator to help us through that. What indicator is that going to be? That's going to be kev_ind. Search it up in the indicators tab, pause the video, put down these settings, 9, 21, 50, and 200. These are my inputs as well. Boom. Now come back to this video. We're able to identify that we're still inside of this fair value gap. What is the main reason that we've most likely started to push up is because the sell side liquidity that we had inside of the fair value gap was swept by both NQ and ES. ES barely swept it and already reversed, while NQ was starting to push a bit lower. But most likely NQ pushed lower because ES wasn't there yet, so NQ had to make a deeper push to grab the liquidity for ES as well. Now that we grab that, we're able to switch off the 1 hour and switch to a 15-minute time frame. And off the 15-minute time frame, we're going to identify whether we are going to reverse. How can we identify that? Is by looking at recent price action after the sweep to see if we have maybe any fair value gaps. And we do. We identify a 15-minute fair value gap that ends up holding price action all throughout post-market and pre-market of Tuesday. So that bullish price action is coming through, and how can we make sure that we're going to keep on pushing past it is by making sure we can get past this high that is being held by our EMAs. So if we're able to get past that high being held by our EMAs, we're most likely looking to push even higher. And how can we know where exactly we're going to go to is by when we switch back to SPY, as it might get a little choppy. Bear with me, guys, bear with me, I know. You're not the only one that has to look at this shit. I look at it every day. We can identify that we have a void coming from Thursday into Monday. As Friday, we had Good Friday, we didn't have price action. So we can identify that as options doesn't have Sunday's market, we just kind of created this gap from here to here. We kind of just created that little gap that is exactly what we were looking to trade to. As we can see here, we had the big void, we were looking to trade into that, I also marked out a void that we created leading from Monday into Tuesday. It's very important that you mark out voids, as we will always most likely come back to retest them. As we now drop down to a 5 minute to identify, hey, what trades are we actually going to be looking to look into, we can see market opens up and we continue the same action. We end up breaking higher than our highs and creating a bullish fair value gap on a 5 minute time frame that we tap into leading into 7 a.m., which is 30 minutes after market open, to push into our void close. That's exactly what we end up doing. I move down to a 1 minute time frame from here, and I'm able to identify that we're still holding that price action. We still have the 5 minute holding us, and we have BTC. What is BTC? Don't get it tripping, guys. I'm not coming up with a brand new mechanic. BTC is just bullish trend continuation. If you guys have watched my other videos, you guys can see that I always talk about, when we're looking at a trend, those previous highs to hold us when we come back down. Same thing here. A previous high, I want it to hold us when we come back down. And when you're quick enough, you're able to even take the trade to the BTC. That's exactly what I do, and I end up getting in shortly before this pump ends up happening, because we create a fair value gap here, we tap into it, we go above EMAs, and we end up exploding, filling in the void. And what ends up happening? This is a crucial moment that I want everyone to look at, is that we create our first major SMT divergence that made it so easy to catch these puts. Look at this. We have 927 versus 1008. Higher, lower SMT divergence. We end up dropping down with engulfing bearish candles. And when you get something like this, as explosive as this, I personally don't wait for a retest. Once I see that momentum come in, I'm already getting into this trade. And yes, of course, I was looking out for my BTC, but we ended up breaking lower than it and ended up getting stopped and held at EQ. It turns 11 a.m. and we're able to take that reversing trade back above 0.6 into a discount, where this inverse fair value gap decided to hold us. And simple as that, guys. It is so simple when you really just look at the markets and understand, what is the trend? Are we confirming trend? Where could we be pushing to the void? Do we have SMT at highs? Do we have EQ? Do we have inverse fair value gaps? It's just all about looking at these simple mechanics that is very crucial to look at. And once you guys are able to look at it at a much more practice, before you know it, you'll be taking better trades than me. So I hope you guys understand that when you take trades like this, when you look at market and you're able to identify, okay, 5 minute fair value gap gets formed, we end up pushing higher, we end up sweeping our void entrance, pushing higher again, BTC holds us, get above void close, SMT up here, 10 a.m. We're most likely going to slap down. That's exactly what we do, straight onto EQ. EQ holds us, pushes us back onto a discount where the inverse fair value gap is, and we end up dropping down a little bit, and the overall trend ends up winning as we end up pumping even higher. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this. SPY doesn't have, NQ doesn't have that action. NQ just has a huge gap created. That gap we are going to be looking at to use coming into either late at night or pre-market or the following market open session. But this is for sure something that we're going to be looking at. As we pumped up like crazy, I want to look for us to come back down to retest this, and same thing with that I taught you guys about trend. I want to see if maybe this can hold us. These final highs that we created, I want to see if price can come back down and hold here to push us higher, or we'll have that reversing price action where we can dump it and then use it as an inverse. And as a lot of people might think, well, Batnance, how will I know? Simple as this. When you see a setup here, take the puts to here. And if we break lower, then there you go. You just caught an insane trade. And if we don't, then there you go. You're prepared for the longs. Stop making trading so fucking complicated for yourself. It can be such a simple thing, and you guys refuse to see it like that. Stop making it complicated. If you learned something, if you need something to be relearned, look at my previous videos. Join my Discord. Subscribe to the goddamn YouTube channel. Just do something to better yourself so you can continue to learn and grow. I hope you guys learned something. If there's ever anything you guys need, join my Discord, DM me, DM anyone in my server. We're here to help for free.